Alright, what's going on, fellow YouTube citizens, my YouTube family, my subscribers, and my friends? And like I said, stop by, just coming, stopping by, check it out. See what's going on my channel, see what this guy talking about, what's going on with you as well. Now, lately, of course, like I said, always the busy bee, trying to stay afloat, trying to make ends meet like the next. So, of course, when y'all don't hear from me in a while, that's what's going on. So it's not like I'm like, okay, forget my YouTube channel, I ain't studying it, forget about it now. Just, trying to make a lot of things connect and come together. Like so many out here in this YouTube society who rarely get on their channel because they trying to make other things work. But anywho, this right here I wanted to talk about love and relationships too. In love relationships, one, I had kind of had a debate with a lovely lady named Miss Kate Roberts. Not putting you on the spot, Kate. And but me and her was having a little debate about homosexuality, and not only homosexuality. That's what I'm gonna make this segment about, but also adding to where I left off it in the first segment of love and relationships. But getting homosexuality out the way. Point blank is no, no, no. Point blank. I mean, you born, you got, it's just like two seeds, right? You can't you can't cause one seed to blossom from another seed. I can't put a seed inside of a seed and then comes a tree or a fruit tree, a plant, or whatever. I gotta have some soil. So seed and soil, and the seed goes into soil and fertilizes in the soil and then blooms. So when it comes to homosexuality, how can reproduction be brought about if you got people with two of the same organs? They both have the same organs. So you just pretty much rubbing and nudging up against each other. And by the way, for those like, oh, okay, you got the rainbow out, they say, I love Jesus, by the way. I love Jesus. I know that whole rainbow thing that I recently heard about, saying it's supposed to be representative of homos, and I think it's so foolish because I'm like, okay, if that's the case, when you see a rainbow in the sky, does that mean God's gay too? Oh, didn't quite think of that one, did y'all? Yeah. But like I said, it really ain't much to elaborate on it. It's point blank. It's wrong. It's wrong because if that's the way God set it up or designed it to be, and I know people say, well, I mean, I don't believe in God, atheist, whatever, you're entitled to believe what you want. But logic, okay? Logic, mother, father, child. Mother, father, child. Mother, mother, no child. Father, father, no child. In order for it to be a family, there has to be a male, a female, in order for a family to be established. But if there's no male and female, there is no family. Now, somebody may make the argument and say, no, 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 you have adoption. Okay. Oh, you got me there. Oh, there was a counterpunch. Didn't see that one coming. No. If it was not for heterosexual people coming together, forming a child, and unfortunately leaving that child to be adopted, there would not be an option for gay couples to adopt children and have a family. They don't get it either. Oh, you got the sperm bank. Artificial insemination. If that's the case, you say, oh, gays can have children that way, through the sperm bank, artificial insemination, and whatnot. If that was the case, instead of going through some type of link or some like a router on a computer or something. Because that's all it is. I look at this like a router. Instead of going through a router to have a child, why don't you just do it directly? Why don't you enjoy the fruits of making love? Because that's what it's called. It's making love. Male and female coming together in union, having intercourse with one another, or procreation. And bingo, procreation equals pro-heterosexual. In order to procreate, you must be pro-heterosexual. So procreation would not exist without, but yeah. So, just throwing different examples out there, different debates. Some say, oh, they was born that way. Once again, you say people born that way, they born gay. That means that God creating gays? So God creating gays, right? I was born, they're going off that Lady Gaga perspective. God, I was born this way. No. No way. It's something you was exposed to. Something you was exposed to in the environment or society you grew up in that caused you to lean towards that way. So as far as born that way, like, oh, this was in my DNA to want and desire this, no, it's something exposed to. Point blank. So born that way, no, don't get it. I don't see children, innocent children, growing up looking at each other in a funny way. Now, you may have instances now where little boys rubbing on each other, wrestling or whatnot, doing things out of curiosity. But as far as born that way, no. Because the only way you have little boys or little girls growing up liking one another is if they was tampered with at a young age. If they was tampered with at a young age or sexually harassed at a young age, and they in their mind thinking that it's okay because who doing it to them, or convinced or persuaded that it's okay, then they'll grow up thinking that it's okay. But if they been exposed to something and they start getting into it, as far as dealing with homosexuality, a mom, a dad, a cousin, or whatever comes and punishes them or scolds them for trying to go that direction, then they learn in their mind that, no, I'm not supposed to do this. Because if this was okay, I wouldn't be scolded for it. If this was okay, I wouldn't be punished for it, or my brother wouldn't beat me up, or my cousin wouldn't put his foot up my behind, or whoever, if this was okay. Or her, him or her. And if it was so okay, you wouldn't have so many people so discreet about it, or so in the closet, so to speak, if it was so okay. If it was so okay, you would be all out in the open, out in public with it, not ashamed, not embarrassed, not humiliated. Or if people say hurtful things, they say hurtful things, it wouldn't bother that person or convict them if it was okay. Because by them saying things that how faggot, homo, this, that, and it's bothering you because that's your conscience bothering you on the inside, or bothering them because they know that it's wrong. But if I know I'm doing the right thing, I don't care what nobody tell me, what nobody say to me. I know I'm doing the right thing. Because I know it's going to all come to the light. Or when it all boils down, the revelation going to hit them sooner or later. And they going to see or realize, hey, he right. He was telling the truth. I see where he coming from. So I have nothing to be ashamed of if I know I'm doing the right thing and I'm on the right path. But if I'm on the wrong path and somebody make comments, or if I'm doing shameful or doing something shameful and humiliating, and I'm trying to persuade or convince myself that it's okay, and I'm hanging around people who view or think the same way as me, and somebody comes and says something that's hurtful to me, but I'm trying to persuade myself it's okay. Everybody else thinks it's okay. But this individual over here says something and all of a sudden it's not okay because of one person. That means that the impact that this one or two people had on what they saying is a lot more strong or powerful than what I think and what others around me think. So what does that mean is what they speaking apparently must be the truth because of the power or the impact that it has on me. So like this Jonah Maury case. He's saying going to school, people saying all sorts of stuff, it hurting them or whatnot. If you know you're doing the right thing, what does it matter? But when you know you're doing the wrong thing, that's when it becomes hurtful. Because you know deep down inside this wrong, deep down inside this is not right. It's not according to what society thinks, it's according to what you know. So ain't no way around it, ain't no justifying it. Saying, oh hey, it's okay. It's sad, it's disappointing. You see an adult or supposed to be an adult going that direction. Now majority of why a lot of people are homosexual, it ain't all prison break. Oh, everybody getting turned out of prison. Because the population or the ratio of female to male is more females than males. So go figure, who is it that's majority homo female? You got men too, but population female male. A lot of people going home turning homosexual because out of depression. Some feel that they can't find a good man. Women feel they can't find a good man. Men, it may be more childhood the reason a man would go that way. Because you got, and not condoning it, but to protect your manhood, if you want it that bad or need it that bad, you got prostitutes on the street, you go to the strip club, you can, you got pornos, you got all sorts of stuff to entertain you. Entertain those desires. So if I was with a man, the reason he would be that way is because probably growing up mostly around sisters or mostly around women, had no male role model, none whatsoever, to look up to. So in an environment full of women, in an environment full of feminism, so a boy grows up in an environment full of feminism with no cousins or no brother, older brother, whatnot to rough him up, no friends, whatever, then he gonna more than likely take on feminine attributes. He gonna take on feminine characteristics because of the environment that he's growing up in. But if he grow up around mostly women, but also have older men in the picture, or males older than him that's masculine, well, when those males see that he trying to go a feminine direction, they might tough him up, rough him up, pick on him, mess with him. Oh, you sissy, call him different words or whatnot, get him upset. No, I'm not. And he getting off, rough and getting all upset, want to fight. You got the cousin pushing him upside the head, just toughing him up. Not picking on him out of jealousy, but toughing him up. So now he grows up rough and tough because of the persecution he dealt with from cousins or brothers or whomever. Friends that's masculine that caused him to be masculine. So that's why you got a lot of men growing up, young black men, and you see with white males too, trying to be gangster, tough, rough, because they feel like I have to prove that I'm masculine. I don't want nobody to look at me as I'm feminine. I have to prove that I'm masculine. So that's why you got guys taking on that image, that role, instead of the actual role of a 9 to 5, being a responsible father, being a responsible adult, is the image. At least let me work on the image where it looks like I'm masculine. It looks like I'm tough. And that's why you see a lot of guys taking on the gangster thug, the younger guys. You have a few olders too, old fools. But yeah. So just kind of elaborating on that as far as on the homosexual, like what would be the cause of the spike for males? Males who have never been in prison in their life, what would cause them to be that way is that environment that they grew up in. You grew up mostly around women. You never got roughed and toughed up. Never got picked on or pushed, by your cousins or brothers or whatnot, male friends, uncles, whomever. There's a possibility he might grow up a little feminine because he ain't been roughed and toughed up. But the one that, of course, grows up around older males who been there, done that, a little more experienced than him, that's the one more likely gonna grow up masculine because they gonna wrestle with them, football, whatever sports. By him being surrounded in an environment of peers, of other male peers, that right there will, of course, automatically help him to develop a masculine mentality. Because by him having somebody older than him, he sees examples on what's masculine, what's approving to other males as masculine. So when he see what's approving to other males as masculine, he gonna take on one of them roles. Whether it's being athletic, whether it's being thug, gangster, walking a certain way, where I look like I'm masculine, whether it's talking a certain way, taking on the form of masculinity. Whatever it is that's approving to society to be masculine, that's what their young male would take on. So, like I said, that's what would be the spark with homosexuality with the males, mostly women, or jailbreak, get up in jail, get turned out, and that's what happens. Now, the females is mostly because of heartbreaks in a lot of relationships. A lot of women become, desperate or deeply depressed, and they feel like it's no other choice. They feel like they have no other choice, no other option other than to go the same direction instead of the opposite direction, which is the opposite sex. They feel like they have no other choice, that this is the best route for me to take. And a lot of women, like I said, do it out of depression. They not doing it because of they actually had this attraction or this desire to mess with other women, but out of depression. Some women do it because, once again, appealing to society, trying to appeal to the male that loves things like that. Like some men love lesbians because or want a woman or wife or want to date a girl to be a lesbian so they can have a threesome. So by having a threesome, he has to have a woman that's comfortable with being in bed with another woman. So some women like that because they trying to be appealing to men like that, men who love threesomes. So that's why some women probably be bi, man and woman, because they want to have this kinky appeal. That hey, I'm the fun girl. I'm the fun girl either way. Some, like I said, is out of desperation. It's out of depression. Really great depression. So by going through a great depression, ain't no good men out there for me. I'm tired of getting heartbroken by men, tired of getting dogged out. She may sit, she vulnerable, she looking for comfort, and if she's sitting around the wrong person for that comfort, it might cause her to make a bad decision. Oh, you might as well go this way. You might as well do this. Oh, girl, men ain't no good. You might as well go ahead and be gay, or at least we know each other better. At least we have the same mind, having the mind of a woman. So at least by you being gay, by having a woman, by dating a woman, well, we know each other likes. We know each other to a T because we more related, or we can compare a lot more. compare a lot better, a lot more compatible, because we both are the same gender. You know, whatever lie or con or whatever persuasion used towards that woman who's vulnerable or deeply depressed, she might end up going that way. And I'm knowing this from, you know, talking to women, you know, beautiful women that end up going that way and ask them why, investigate, and that's the majority of the reason, is they feel greatly depressed and feel like they have no other choice. I know a guy who had a very attractive sister. I mean, this was I was in high school, or I think about 2 or 3 years out of high school, and this high school buddy of mine had a very attractive sister, and I used to always try to flirt with her, you know, teasing, letting her know, hey, if I ever get the opportunity, you know. So, and she, I don't know, she was just having a lot of, I guess, bad relationships, and she ended up going that way. But I think now she back straight, she back on the right path, but she went that way for a long time, and I was asking my, you know, friend at the time, I was like, what, man, what happened? I mean, she beautiful, she attractive, I'll go with her, I'll sleep with, you know, but he was like, man, I don't know, man, I don't know. And I said, man, she got a nice body, she look, why in the world would she want to go that way? But it was because of that depression, that Great Depression, that she ended up going that way until she finally broke free from that and desired to love again. And now she ended up having another baby, because she had one daughter, I believe. No, one little boy, and I think she had another little boy. Desired to love again, because I guess she rebuilt her confidence up that this is no longer for me. Let me get back on track. So just thought I guess I went a little further into it like I wanted to, but apparently this is what I needed to. Now, it's for the continuation on the love and relationships part. When the other things I want to add on, just a few more things, was about the man taking a place of the father and a woman taking a place of the mama. Like, women say they want a good man, and if the woman had a good dad in her life, or the guy is a dad-like figure, if dad went in her life and she meets a guy who is a father figure, like has the character or the stature of a father, that more than likely would be the man she need, because even though never had dad in her life, he has father statues. Meaning that the way he comes at her, he don't treat her like his daughter, but at the same time, that's what some women want, is to be buttered up and babied. They want the buttering up like a daughter, like a child. That's why some women call the guy they with daddy or big daddy, because on how he treating them. But they don't want the scolding of a father. I ain't no child. He ain't talking to me like a child. Where you want to get spoiled like a child by the man, but you don't want to get scolded like a child by the man. It don't work that way. Like what they're saying, have your cake and eat it too. It don't work that way. You want the father-like attributes of this man as far as the good thing, the good side, the sweet side, but you don't like the salty side, and the salty side is the stern, strict side. So, of course, if the guy is coming to you like a father or talking to you like a child, apparently he feels he can get away with it because he can get away with spoiling you like a child, so he feels he can get away with talking to you like a child. If I can spoil you like a child, I can talk to you like one. And not talking to necessarily talking to the woman out of disrespect, but getting on her case and calling it out like it is. You know better. You know better. You know this wrong. Now, I talked to you about this before. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Do you understand me? See, that right there, who you think I am? Or, you know, when she hears stuff like, oh, you know better. You know better, you know you ain't supposed to be doing this. I thought we talked about this already. But that's the one she need because he giving it to her straight. So of course, he coming off like a father, you call him daddy when he spoil you like a child, but you don't want to call him daddy and look at him as daddy when he scolding you like one. Flip side real quick, and that's not it, but flip side with the male, same thing. If the woman getting on the male like a mother, or you need to get up and get out and work, you being sorry, you being trifling, whatever it is that he lacking and slacking and she nagging him about it, she taking the place of mama. Because not want to do the chores, not want to take out the dishes, rake the leaves, cut the yard, and mama always getting on her son case. Get up and take out the trash. Get out there and rake the leaves. Get out there and cut the yard. So by having a woman taking a place of his mama, that's the exact woman he need. The one who gonna make sure he in line and he in place. And that he ain't slipping or getting off track. The same way as mama being stern and direct and also can be sweet and gentle. That balance. Mama like, hey, I'm sweet and gentle when you on track, when you making me proud. But I'm stern and hard when you getting off track and you making me disappointed. So by having a same woman in a man's life, that's the reason you hear it mostly in the black lingo, little mama. Oh, what's up, little mama? What's going on, mom? Because seeing his mama in that woman. So, same thing. So that right there, the woman that's scolding or whatnot and stern and direct, men should appreciate that, knowing you got a woman. Not nagging, but if she nagging in the right way. It's like you doing wrong, you getting off track, and she constantly nagging, constantly being aggravated for you to get back on track. She not doing anything wrong. She doing exactly what she supposed to do, like a mom nagging to her children. You know you need to get back in school. You know you need to be working. You know you need to be doing this. Even though it's nagging or it's aggravating to the child knows that mom is telling the truth or dad is telling the truth. And it's that being uncomfortable with them with hearing the truth. Man, I know I need to do this, but why they keep reminding me? Because they don't want too much time to pass by or for their child to get too comfortable and let opportunities pass them by where it end up being too late, where they getting further and further behind. So the reason they get on them, they get on it and get on it immediately so they can get ahead instead of behind. Same way with that woman. Same way with that man. No different. Getting on his wife to be, or she getting on her husband to be, or fiance or whomever, because expecting the best from them and expecting the best out of them. So it shows your maturity when you get they coming at you about what's right and you getting upset because they right. That show that you're not as much of an adult as you think you are. That show that you still need some growing up to do. Instead of evaluate and think and say, well, they just telling me what I need to hear. They telling me something for my good. They not trying to run my life. Sometimes it's just, good to evaluate. Just meditate. Like you have an argument or whatnot or a disagreement, just sit back and meditate on the argument. What started the argument? What led up to this? And just weigh it on the scale of who's right and what's right. And overall, that's what it is. What's right? Who's right? What's right? And when you put it out on that scale of who's right and what's right, then the revelation will come a lot clearer. Then you'll realize they just telling me something I need to hear. Or they just telling me something for my good. Instead of taking it personal, acting childish, they always nagging, they always doing it. They telling you what you need to hear. So that shows your maturity. If you act immature because they telling you the right thing, that show you got some more growing up to do. But you be mature about it and be like, and just confess and say, yeah, you're right. I'm not disagreeing with you. Yeah, you're right. That show you mature. That show that you are understanding of where they coming from. And that's the key word right there, is understanding. When you understand why they coming at you stern, when you understand why they going off, or you understand why they nagging, then it'll kind of help you to be a little more appreciative. Because the blind part of it is, when a person nags or stern about doing the right thing, they showing how much they really care. Because if they didn't really care, they wouldn't come off so stern. They wouldn't be so aggravating or so nagging. So that's why they constantly nagging and constantly coming on strong, because they really care. Maturity. Instead of looking at it like they picking on me or they just trying to start something. Because here's the reality, right? If you think about it, if they got things going on, they got their life together. On their end is balanced. On their end is leveled out. But on your end, it's jagged. If they was selfish and only cared about how good they was doing instead of how good both of you all are doing, they wouldn't care. They'd be like, fine, fall or whatnot. Mess up. But if they doing well and they getting on you and want you to do well too, what's the problem? Whether it's the man, male, or female. I'm speaking on both ends. What's the problem? They doing well. They got it together. I'm out messing off, throwing away money, gambling or whatnot. I'm constantly borrowing money from them because I'm messing my money off. That's creating a burden for them. Instead of me being a blessing to them, I'm being a burden. So by me being a burden, of course they're going to start to nag, they're going to start to confront, they're going to start to address whatever they need to do to resolve the problem. Because I really care for you, I really love you, but this has to be fixed. Because this is causing a seesaw in our relationship. I don't want to hear that, or, oh, you know, you look at them, they nag and they trying to start something or whatnot. Now, they're on the verge of leaving you. And when you sober up and then meditate after the fact, after they left you, then you start thinking, then you start meditating. Now you done realize too late. Because they now already moved on with their life, went with somebody else. Instead of meditate while you still with that person, when you have the disagreements, when you have the fallouts, and you see his repetitions on the nagging. You see his repetitions on the arguing. That's when it's the time to sit back, meditate, and think, what keep causing this problem? What can I do to fix it? Or what can we do to fix it to make it better? Instead of constantly playing pinball with each other, ping pong with each other, constantly slapping it back in the other person's direction, sit back, meditate, and think, what can I do to make this better? What is the root of our arguments? What is the root of our problems? And if you just hear or listen to the person, and that's another issue. A lot of people hear, let's sit and talk about it. Okay, let's sit and talk. They talking, da 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 da. You hear them, but you're not listening. You just hear it. And then you go and do the same thing over again, and they constantly bring up the same thing over again, and you like, man, they constantly bringing up the same thing, constantly getting on me about the same thing, because apparently you weren't listening the first time. Or you not listening every time they talking to you, trying to explain themselves to you, their feelings, or what they on the verge of doing, or what's the status in the relationship. You not trying to listen. You only hearing. I just hear you. You just hear them talking. So it's la 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 la. You hear their voice, but you don't hear their words. See, when you hear their words, you listening. When you hear their voice, you just hear it. So that's another thing to think about. That may be the reason why they constantly bringing it up over and over and over again, is because apparently you're not listening. But when you listening and hear their words and hear their logic, then there's understanding. Wherever there's understanding, there is peace. But when there is no understanding, there is no peace. Point blank. So hopefully y'all got insight. Like I said, as always, a privilege and an honor to be able to come on here, share knowledge, and help people, not only on YouTube, but outside of YouTube. And a big thank you to the PayPal owners of YouTube who decided to extend my videos and give me more time, or extend the length of my videos and give me more time to share more information. So a big thank you as well. Apparently I'm doing something right. The reason they gave me a lot more time to share more information. So gotta go. But as always, peace be unto you all in Christ for life.